All right, we got the chat on there. Okay, good evening. The time is now 6:30 p.m. I'm Chairman Mike Curry, and I'd like to call this Board of Selectmen business meeting to order on this 25th day of March 2020. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Of America, and to the republic which stands one nation,
Under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty
justice
and
for
justice for all.
all.
little time like that. I think we got the intent across. This evening, I just want to do a quick roll call. We've got, for the board, we've got myself, the chair, we've got Jeff Bennett, we have Terry Griffiths, we have Diane. Diane Haley is on the line. Our guests this evening, we've got TCTV, who's running our production this evening. Sheila Pelletier, our Veteran Services Officer, is here. Adam LaMontagne, our Assistant Town Administrator, is here. And Bill Storgy from the construction company is here with us this evening. Before we begin, I'd like to state for the record that not only are we being live streamed on YouTube web platform, but that the entire proceeding this evening, except any executive sessions, are being recorded for both TCTV Cable Station 8 and later viewing on the TCTV YouTube channel. I ask that anyone that is recording, for example, any media or reporting staff, please announce that now. Thank you. Okay, as always, our agenda for this evening has been set no later than 48 hours out by law, is publicly available at this official source for town information, templetonma.gov. I would also like to point out, since the governor has placed Massachusetts in a state of emergency, open meeting law has been suspended as we know it and is allowed for flexibility for public meetings. Understanding this, we still make every effort to post meetings, hold them publicly, maximize board participation, have mechanisms for interaction, and always have recordings or transcripts available for the public inspection. We'd also like to remind all of our citizens of the 4 villages to sign up or register for emergency updates using the Code Red system. It is on the left-hand side of our home page near the bottom. Additionally, you may also text from your smartphone. The keyword Templeton MA, all one word, to the number 99411. Although I have the discretion as chairperson to add and remove from the agenda, it has been set to allow for time, personal resources, and public awareness. I reserve the right to move agenda items around to best fit our business and guests. Thank you. I get a little bit more in the way of introduction tonight, because this is some historic firsts for us in Templeton. Just last week, we had our first live stream, as we're doing now on YouTube. But this evening, because our staff at TCTV and our executive assistant are constantly looking for ways to further connect the boards, the people, the committees, basically the entire community. I got a little bit more for our completely 100% remote meeting this evening. This evening is especially important as we are refining our enhanced communication abilities. Tonight is the 3rd such meeting that we have streamed live on YouTube, but this evening is a bit different, as all board members and guests are remote and using the conferencing software called Zoom. All that have business before the board have been given access to the application or dial-in number. Public comment is still possible via the chat section of the live stream on YouTube. I and TCTV are monitoring the chat section and will address comments and questions as they appear or when appropriate. Remember, this chat area is part of a permanent record, so please state your name and your street if you wish to participate, as most YouTube names are informal or only avatars. All right, let's go over a couple of the Zoom rules of the road. Please use video when possible, and I can see most of the board is doing that. We had just a few technical difficulties, but here we are. You can see all of us. Please use the mute feature when not speaking. Please ensure that you're following this in a phone or video. Please follow. Basically, TCTV can help out with the mute button if you forget or if we wind up having some background noise. If you wish to see materials shared in the screen, please request that of the chair. You can email me or tell me which document you'd like to see. This will help everyone stay synchronized. I'll actually give you an example of that right now. Right now, you should see the agenda for this evening, and we can put that up at will. If you wish to speak, you may raise your hand. Use the raise hand feature in Zoom if it's available, or politely break in if you're only on the telephone. Viewers of the live stream may ask questions that may be acknowledged by the chair or any other member that may be monitoring the YouTube live stream chat area. And before we begin, I've been asked to share some sad news with the TCTV family. TCTV is very sad to report the loss of Kevin Breen, a good friend, trusted colleague, and mentor. Kevin played an instrumental role in founding Templeton Community Television. As chairman of the Cable TV Advisory Committee for several years, Kevin led negotiations with the cable TV provider that brought TCTV into existence. He volunteered his time, tools, and expertise over several weekends to build the walls of the station where TCTV broadcasts. Using his audio video know-how, he specified the original equipment that still operates TCTV today, and he taught us how to use it. TCTV would not exist without his generous efforts and giving spirit. TCTV will miss him dearly and continue to practice all that he taught us. The Templeton area is a better place because of Kevin Breen. We are proud to honor him. Memorial donations may be made to the American Cancer Society, and a memorial service will take place in the future. You can see the obituary as it appears in the Gardner News. Thanks to TCTV for bringing that to our attention. Okay, on the agenda for this evening, we have, and if we had any public comment, is there any public comment for anyone that's on the Zoom meeting at this time? Okay, hearing none, we're going to go ahead and continue. The first item on the agenda this evening is the meeting minutes for March 11th. And that should be in your packet. In your agenda packet, you'll just notice that the draft motion to approve the minutes is going to have the wrong date on it. So if you're following along with that, just make sure that you say the motion should be for March 11th.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2020 as presented.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the minute approving the minutes from March 11th. Any further discussion? Well, hearing none on the motion to approve the minutes for 3/11/20. How do you vote? Jeff?
Yes.
Terry?
yes,
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Great. Okay, we have no executive session minutes for this evening. Mr. Lamontagne, do we have any introductions for any new employees this evening?
I do not have any, Mr. Chair.
Okay, next item is the committee appointments and vacancies for our Veterans Grave Officer. This evening, we have our Veteran Services Officer, Sheila Pelletier. Just very quickly want to, we have a March 10th, we had a vacancy. I would say, Jeff, you could probably help me out, but I think that it's been vacant since Alan Mayo vacated that position quite some time ago. And we were operating without a Graves officer. So this evening, we're going to go ahead and remedy that.
That'd be correct, Mike.
Okay. So I'm looking at a memo from Sheila Pelletier, our Director of Veteran Services, dated March 10th, in which it says, Board of Selectmen, according to Mass General Law, Chapter 115, Section 9, the Board of Selectmen will appoint a resident who is also a veteran to the position of a Veterans Graves Officer. This position is currently vacant. The person appointed to this position is responsible for maintenance of veteran grave sites, the placing of flags on veteran grave sites on Memorial Day, and deceased veterans' collection of affidavits. I request that I, as the Veteran Services Officer, a resident of the town, and a veteran, be appointed to this position. Thank you for your consideration of my request in this matter. Regards, Sheila Pelletier, Master Sergeant, retired.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Diane.
I make a motion to appoint Sheila Pelletier as Veteran Graves Officer to a term expiring June 30th, 2022.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
I have a motion and a second to appoint Sheila Pelletier as Veteran Graves Officer. Is there any discussion? Or Sheila, would you like to speak on your own behalf? Any discussion? Sheila, thumbs up, thumbs down, whether you want to speak?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, I was having difficulties. I had to reboot. So,
That's okay.
Yes, it would be an honor to be able to be the Veterans Grave Officer for the town and to work with the cemetery department in maintaining veterans' grave sites. And I think it's something that I can work with other veterans and get a handle on it and move the town forward there.
Great. Sheila, I know Alan was the Veterans Graves Officer for, I believe, several years. And we're very happy that you sent us the memo and were able to step up and fill that very important position. I know that there was a lot of conversation. I don't know if it caught us by guard or off guard or otherwise, but we're certainly glad to fill that vacancy. So thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, on the motion to appoint Sheila Pelletier as the Veterans Graves Officer to a term expiring 6/30/2022. How do you vote, Jeff?
yes.
Terry?
yes,
That's great. Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Sorry, Diane, I paused for a moment. Terry had a basically like a Bob Dylan message that she was holding up to the camera that said, thank you, Sheila.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Nope. Okay, Sheila, thanks. You're welcome to stick around, whether you'd like to be a part of the live stream or not, but certainly thank you for joining us this evening. Okay, moving on to the next action item this evening. Bill, thank you for joining us. Adam, would you like to, the floor is yours for the presentation of the Orchard Lane Infrastructure Improvements Contract Award.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, this is something that was worked on by the previous Board of Selectmen back in March 6th of 2019. The chairman of the Board of Selectmen, John Kaplis at the time, signed off on us applying for a Massachusetts Community Development Block Grant for fiscal year 2019 at that time. And in the application process, we had to submit this early on. The public facilities infrastructure, the grant request was for $668,000. As you know, this would improve through reconstruction of the roadway on Orchard Lane, sidewalks and curbing, the replacement of water mains, and the installation of new stormwater drainage lines. The project would positively impact the quality of life for the residents by enhancing water quality and water pressure, and by mitigating drainage issues that cause the basements of private homes in that area to flood. This, we did put in a commitment of $190,000 of our Chapter 90, but it's going to be used as a contingency for this project. As you can see with the materials you have in your packet tonight, the lowest bidder for this when we went through the procurement process, and I'm sure Bill will get into it, our engineer we're working with, the bid amount was for $667,271.75. So it was right below that amount, and quite frankly, they were the lowest bidder. And with that, I'll leave the rest for Bill, if it missed through the chair.
Okay. What would you like me to discuss? The contractor or the work?
Mr. Chairman, what would you like him to
Yeah,
discuss?
Well, it's really, Bob, if you want to chime in at all, thank you for joining us. Really, this evening, you had business before the board. We really weren't looking for the redundancy of, saying what was going to go on for the project or otherwise. It's more about the board voting to award the contract. So it's not really a rehashing of everything that you've already been on. Bob, do you want to talk about the project at all, or we can just move right to the contract award?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Mr. Chairman, I think if Bill just touches on the contractor and when start dates and stuff like that might happen, I think that's all we really need to know about now.
Sure. Bill, can you share that, those pieces with us?
Sure.
This evening?
Yes, the contractor, the low grade contractor is GEG Construction. They're out of Springfield, Mass. I actually worked with them on 3 separate projects last year. They are pretty good low bidder. They're a good contractor to have holding a set of plans for you. I recommend them. They do good work, and they told me, I actually texted Gil Gomes, the owner, today, and he's looking to start in 3 to 4 weeks. So that would kind of fit right into, if you were awarded tonight, getting into the get the contract documents together and then to the board for signatures, that kind of thing.
Bill, do we have a definite start date? What I would like to do is, I'm sure we'll have a meeting with the contractors and yourself and Peter, and so we can well advance the neighbors and knowing what's going on and what to expect.
Right. He told me he'd like to start in 3 or 4 weeks. So, I mean, that would be, really, the reality of that would be, probably 6 weeks, probably, when you get right down to it.
Okay, that should give us enough time to pre-plan everything, and
Yeah.
I plan on having a meeting with my other departments as far as on daily inspections and stuff like that. So sounds like we're moving forward, and hopefully the weather cooperates for us.
Mr. Chairman, if I could jump into,
Yep, go ahead.
I just want it to be noted that we did take proactive steps working with our sewer superintendent, our public works superintendent, Bob Sozak, who's just on the line, and we made sure that they jetted all the lines and everything else to make sure when we do this that we're going to make sure we do it right. I know it was Bud paved it 5+ years ago, yes, but unfortunately, sometimes when we don't cover all the bases and make sure everything underneath the road's taken care of, it makes the neighbors happy and about the nice new road. But when you have other extenuating circumstances, gotta make sure we move forward with these projects and make sure that all the departments take care of the utilities or other extenuating circumstances that come with paving a street. So I just wanted to touch upon that as well.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Diane.
Do we know, it says subject to availability of CDBG funds. Do we know when those will be available?
Is that a question for me, Mr. Chairman, or are you going to take that question?
Yeah, no, I do not have knowledge of the availability of CD. I see what she's saying. Basically, the second section, this contract award is subject to number one, the availability of Massachusetts CDBG program funds to the town from the Commonwealth. So I don't have information on that.
Well, I could tell you, we've been working with the person that handles all this, Melissa Rodriguez, and everything, and we wouldn't start any work because municipal finance 101, you need to have the money appropriated or available before you move forward with any work. So quite frankly, the money has to be there in order for us to do anything. So I just want to keep Bill at that, and I think that pretty much answers the question. And the answer would be a yes, that the money would be available before we proceed with work.
Adam? Do we have an
Diane.
estimated time frame? Do we have an estimated time frame?
Is this Diane?
Yes.
Oh, Diane, okay. Bob Sozak, is he still on the line? Because I know he was working on it with Bill, so Bill could chime in.
In the
Bill.
contract,
Or Bob, whichever one.
Go ahead, Bill.
okay, this is Bill. In the contract documents, we state explicitly that they
This
have to
one's fine, yeah.
complete the work by October 20th.
And the contract has been signed.
So it's 180 days we're giving them to complete the work. Roughly.
Thanks. Terry, you had a question?
How has the pandemic affected the timeline and the finances? Does anybody know? I mean, is it really just business as usual?
Yeah, this would not affect CDBG. And if it did, we would have already heard about that at this point. And we have not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a
Okay.
motion to award the contract for the Community Development Block Grant for Orchard Lane Infrastructure Improvements Project to GEG Construction, Inc. of Springfield, Massachusetts, in the amount not to exceed $667,271.75.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. I have a motion seconded by Therese from Terry. I got to remember that Holly's taking notes, and she might. I think she can see who's doing seconds and motions. On the motion to award the contract to GEG Construction for the amount specified, is there any that's been seconded? Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion on the motion to award the CDBG contract for Orchard Lane Infrastructure Improvements Project to GEG Construction for the amount of $667,271.75. How do you vote, Jeff?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thanks, Bill, Bob. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda for this evening, we've got two items brought by Jeff, one for ambulance receipts and one for request for a road stabilization fund. Items for both. I know that Jeff started to build the packet for it. Let's take the first one first. I'd like to refer to workshop the request for ambulance receipts amendment article on the town meeting warrant. Adam, earlier I had sent you a question on what is the drop dead date for adding to the warrant. Do we
Yeah,
know that date?
We could add, well, the Board of Selectmen can add up to it till we have that in front of you for approval.
Okay, so,
Citizens petitions have a deadline.
okay, so we've got time to add this in, that our next, I believe next week is our workshop, correct?
That is correct.
Yep. So I know it was Jeff's intent. He brought these things. I know that it was a little rocky to try and get it on whatever agenda or workshop. But at this point, to get fully vetted through and having discussion on it, a board discussion on it, and we should have the time. I think if we get these things to workshop, get the work done for them, then we may meet Jeff's intent of moving these to the warrant.
Yeah, I believe Jeff would talk about it in the workshop.
Yep. Adam, do we need a formal vote to refer to workshop? Or, I mean, I can actually.
I mean, I think it's better for Polly's sake to have it reflect in the minutes.
Okay. Let's do them one at a time, just so we can have any comment on it. I'd like to propose a motion to refer to workshop of April 1st, request for ambulance receipts amendment article for the town meeting warrant. Do I have a second on the motion?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to refer to workshop for the ambulance receipts amendment article. Any discussion?
Yes. Is this something that came to us via email? Because if it did, I didn't get it.
Jeff has actually been talking about this for probably, Jeff, what would you say, a month? He went in front of the board at least on 2 occasions to
Yes,
describe.
correct.
Yeah, to describe.
Okay, I'm
the
sorry.
conditions.
You're gonna have to, I'm having a hard time focusing, so. It's all right.
No, hang on. Hey, Adam, I'm going to put you on mute. The vibrating thing kind of drowns us out. So Jeff came before us at least twice to describe once in before the meeting and then once in the board afterwards. And so what we're trying to do is basically fully vet his requests into workshop.
Okay.
That is in accordance with our selectmen's operating procedure to make sure that we've got
Yeah.
fully vetted stuff. This gives us an opportunity to actually debate it without basically sitting there ready to put it on the warrant without much discussion. So I think we're going to give it its due day and still meet Jeff's intent to put this as a possibility for the warrant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I just can't really, I'm just having a hard time remembering what he talked about. So
Okay.
let's just bring it to workshop. Let's just bring it to workshop. I agree with bringing it to workshop. I'm just trying to recollect what was discussed. That's all.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Jeff can chime in on the thumbnail, but it's basically changing what it was from the town meeting when it was approved. His position was that it was the real intent was for the ambulance receipts to go to ambulance or EMS capital receipts. So we wanted to switch that around. Now that does have some impact, and I think that's why we've got to tackle this in workshop.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Okay, on the motion to refer to workshop for the ambulance receipts, any further discussion? Okay, on that motion to refer to workshop, how do you vote, Jeff?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes,
Diane?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Thank you. And on the second item, for refer to workshop for the request for a road stabilization fund article on the town meeting warrant. I make a motion to refer to workshop that request for discussion on the road stabilization fund article with the intent of it going to town meeting warrant for the annual.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Or any discussion on that motion? Okay, hearing none on the motion to refer to workshop, the request for road stabilization fund article for the town meeting warrant. How do you vote, Jeff?
yes,
Terry?
Yes,
Diane?
Yes,
And I vote yes as well. On those items, we just want to make sure that we're prepared for that. So I'll do some work with Jeff to make sure that we've got the materials for everything. Whether Adam or Carter will try and work with you to make sure that those are fully vetted discussions. And I think the most specific thing, if we come out in the positive for those requests for warrant articles, that we have the language ready, so we're not holding anything up. Okay, that's the last item on new business. And I've got nothing under old business. I believe that we are not going to do any executive sessions this evening, being especially our first live stream along with the teleconferencing platform. So I will move, before we go into adjournment, I'll go into board and staff member comments. Let's start with Jeff.
my only thing, Mr. Chair, is that if we could push out the information the governor put out today, telling all grocery stores to set aside some time for senior shopping, as well as handicap and people with health, pre-existing health positions. So there is, Market Basket right now has Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 5:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. for that group only. And I believe the governor mandated that for all grocery stores. So maybe that's something we could push out via the website, Facebook, anything else. That's all I have.
Okay. Jeff, that's a good point. I don't think we've had a consolidated post on what grocery. I know that there have been a couple different. I saw the Price Chopper CEO's memo. I saw Market Basket, but yeah, we can. Jackie and I can take a look at making sure that we consolidate it. We put that information out there. But that's a good point. Terry?
food pantry's open 2 days a week as well. Now the food pantry at the senior center is open 2 days a week. And that's about it.
Yeah, that
And
I know that that's probably one of the largest priorities for the community right now. I know when the staff does meet, and that's one of the biggest concerns that they have. Right now, they're ready to receive donations and they're ready to receive people who may need it. And they have noticed right now, Jackie Prime is the community services director, has noticed an uptick. I wouldn't say it's a sharp uptick, but any uptick after that advisory to stay indoors. It wasn't an order, it was an advisory. But they are ready for the uptick that we're expecting. And there was something else on the
May 6th, this closing of the schools. I'm just throwing out there for your update. You give all the updates. So what Jeff said, and then those two other points, the schools and food pantry.
You got it. Is that it, Terry?
Yes, thank you. And again, stay safe, everybody.
Diane?
it's actually May 4th for the closing of schools and daycares, except for the emergency locations. And the food pantry put out a large list of items that's needed there. And the food pantry is open on Tuesdays and Thursdays at different hours. On Thursdays, it's 12 to 3, and I forget the hours on Tuesdays, but they've been pushing out the information via Facebook, and a lot of people have been sharing that. So every day we get an update from Mike and the team, and I see a lot of people sharing that information. Haywood Hospital puts out a morning and an evening update, which is also being shared around. They do a video. And again, I would say the same thing that Terry says, and Mike says, it's an advisory to stay home, but we move the virus doesn't move. So the longer, the more we stay inside, the less the virus will spread. So I want everyone to stay safe in our community, and that I'm hoping for the best.
Thanks, Diane. Terry,
Sorry, if you do go out, it is a good idea to decontaminate when you come home, depending on where you go. And what I mean by that is take a shower, put your clothes in the wash, maybe wipe down your doorknobs, practice
preventative measures.
preventative measures. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on, and we meet regularly. We're going to meet again on Saturday, but if anyone has any go backs, absolutely just let me know. I'll just take my 2 seconds at the end of this. Diane was talking about information that's pushed out to the public. Just watching the chat on the live stream, and TCTV wanted me to remind, or actually just they heard what you said, Jeff, about the grocery store hours. So TCTV is going to take that on to make sure that there's a consolidated list, and that we'll make sure that we go ahead and share that information. Let's see. And also TCTV said that they put the slides on our cable channel to make sure that people are aware of those immune suppressed or elderly shopping hours for all of our area supermarkets. Let's see, that's all the chat I saw there. Amanda Murray says hello. Thank you to Sheila for being the Graves officer and the Veteran Services officer, and Amanda, who is on our economic development and on our capital, also sends her best wishes to everyone's family. I want to share, just to wrap up with my comments, getting the information to the public is one of the most important things that we can do in an emergency situation. We've all had kind of ideas on how we've been doing and how we can do it. I've certainly tried to enable different things to make sure that everybody gets that information. Some people have agreed with our response, some people have not, and we've tried to address those things. We did get asked why are we doing why are we collecting bullets on an after action review after this whole thing's done? On the entire range of hazards that can occur to our community, this was one of them, and we knew that it could be one of them, but we did not have the experience that was required for all of the different things for a pandemic event. I think that everybody in the community knows that Templeton does very well during snowstorms, ice storms, and otherwise, that we've got a very good fire services that takes care of brush fires, those are all hazards that we're used to here. But pandemic, we do need to do an after action review to make sure that we're getting it right, that we're addressing all the public health concerns that we have as a community. And the list could be long. We definitely on the Board of Selectmen, we acknowledge that that list may be long, and we're certainly going to pay attention to the things that need to be placed on it and prioritized, so that if this happens again, God willing, it doesn't happen again, that we're more equipped to do so. So getting information out is what I started with. I was a little bit shocked, but the code red numbers that we have right now, out of the probably 8,500 residents that we have in Templeton, only about 1,200 signups for code red messages. That's a low amount, in my opinion. I'm not sure what my fellow board members might think about that. But if I think about information that needs to get put out, and we've had 2 code red messages since we've started this, it's imperative that we have a way to communicate. We don't have loudspeakers on the corner of every road. So we need a method in concert with our website and our social media. But that really the primary methods to get it out there. I'd love to see better numbers. So if you've made it 40 minutes into this meeting and you're still watching, tell your neighbor about signups for Code Red. Get on the social media platform of your choice. Some of those Facebook groups are easier to be on than others, but choose one because I'm on a lot of them, and I can tell you the same information kind of bounces around. I think there's a lot of caring going on, but it's pockets. We want to make sure that we get to the widest possible audience that we can in an emergency situation. And just really to finish up, if you are on those websites, if you are getting the daily status report, if you have signed up for Code Reds, then you're getting the information, the best information that we have at this point. And as always, we're open for comment. You know, this live chat will go into a recording. The comments are still there. I actually spent quite a long time this weekend addressing some of the comments in our last live stream, or shouldn't say our last one, but the emergency meeting that we did have. So we will address what the community's concerns are, whether we did well or whether we did poorly. So really, that's all I have. Any go backs? Yeah, go ahead, Terry.
This is totally off the top of my head, but we also should, maybe for the workshop or after we're going through our review of how we handled the pandemic, consider that going forward. There was going to be an extreme weather, a resilience workshop, a climate resilience workshop at the fire department that I wanted to sign up. I signed up for it, but I couldn't attend, and then it was canceled because of COVID. But we are having a change in weather, you just have to know that things are changing. My daughter is a librarian at the Cape, and she scheduled a couple of those resilient climate workshops because she realized they had a storm in the fall and their transformer blew right outside their house. And what's happening down the Cape, she wasn't prepared for. So she's working with libraries around the world and, you know, getting that conversation started. And my thoughts are, it's nice that we're doing this and trying to get people this started, but we need to start that conversation and how we're going to get the word out if we lose power or have extreme weather.
Thanks, Terry. I agree. Yeah, there were several things. There was a Central Mass Animal Recovery Team. I forget the actual acronym, but there's been a few workshops that had to get canceled. It's going to, like I say in a couple forums, it's not going to be minutes and days. It's going to be days, weeks, and months at this point. So what I think we've got is a good team. We just need to kind of take notes as we're going through to make sure that we're better the next time around for any of these emergencies that we have. Huge shout out to TCTV. We've done exponentially better getting information and different options out to the public. Again, seeing the chat works very well, but I just want to give a shout out to TCTV for doing a great job of connecting us, putting this on this platform. I think it was fairly seamless, trying to figure everything out. I agree, double thumbs up. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
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 I heard a bunch of ayes. I've even got my gavel with me.
I didn't
Although
hear Jeff.
It's a temporary gavel. So here we go. Adjourn on the first conference call, live TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.